Hey everybody. Um, it is the 7th of October, I think, yeah, okay. And I want to talk about infiltrators because if you're watching this, then obviously you're an activist or you want to be an activist, maybe you're working your way into it. Things like protesting, leafletting, anything joining the ungovernables is great. But I know that it's hard for people to trust each other, especially online and in person. And I wanted to go over some things that, okay, so people have been curious about infiltrators and how to identify them, and it's caused a lot of arguments between people, like we just don't trust each other. So I want to kind of point out some things that I've noticed from people who I have found out to be actual infiltrators, and hopefully help you guys identify them. Now, this is not an exact science, it's just my best estimated guess. And I've been pretty meticulous about recording things, whether it's censorship or whether I think somebody's an infiltrator. And the key to figuring out if they're an infiltrator or not is their agenda, what they're doing, documenting it, and then putting all those puzzle pieces together to decide, okay, this person is probably an infiltrator. Let me pull up my document here. Now, this is not an exhaustive list, okay? So there may be plenty more ways to identify an infiltrator. Let me screenshot this. Okay. The first one. Now you have to put in the back of your mind, say, okay, I first saw this activist at, say, No Dapple, or I saw this person at a protest. That does not mean they're not an infiltrator, okay? That's what this particular infiltrator that I'm talking about, I knew and worked with him for years, and I had absolutely no clue until one day it just hit me, and then I started documenting it, like his previous stuff, and I was like, wow, oh my God, how could I have missed this? So maybe you're doing this video and you see this and you're like, oh wait, maybe it'll help you trigger some warning signs. The first warning sign is that they legitimize, or so say if somebody in the establishment dies, like John McCain, they'll post comments like this. It says, breaking, aid says Senator war hero. They're calling John McCain a war hero. And GOP presidential candidate John McCain has died. Might have not agreed with him on a lot of issues, but I've always felt his heart was in the right place. Now, imagine this being said by somebody that has been shot at No Dapple. This is somebody that I personally verified and saw that they took food behind the police barricades of the entrances of No Dapple, and he put himself in harm's way, or at least he made it look like that. And that's what I thought gave him credibility. Somebody that stands against the establishment does not say things like this. Okay, this was August 25th. I don't remember what year this was, but it was before 2018. So almost 2 years old at least. Okay, so they lift up war heroes, meaning lift up as in like they compliment them, promote them as a good figure when they're not. Two, you'll see a lot of DNC or RNC propaganda. They lift up candidates, people who are establishment, like for sure, which we all know. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is a controlled opposition candidate. They all are. A lot of propaganda, a lot of legitimizing the system, but then they pretend to be, real activists. They also push DNC agenda. But this is the biggest red flag here, is when they promote candidates. You're not woke, you're not aware, whatever you want to call it, if you're promoting candidates. Sorry, I got a lot of pages open. Okay, another thing. They will try and pit the left versus right. They're gonna the people. Now, I'm not justifying Kanye West. I think he's an elitist pig. I think he's an idiot. But he's trying to push a narrative with this graphic here that somehow the left is not a racist generation as well. This is pointing that only Trump supporters are racist and ignorant, and that's just simply not true. I think he also made a comment. Let me scroll down. I think at some point in time he said this. This is why I'm quoting it. Well, this person isn't loyal. Oh yeah. He made a comment. I don't know where it is, but he made a comment saying that somehow Kanye West is not being representative of Black people simply because he's not supporting the left. He's supporting the right, saying that he's like working against his own race. And in a way, he is, but it goes to a point where when you support the duopoly, you go against all citizens. You work against the real revolution, and he's legitimizing one side by condemning another, and that's another key, dividing us. And I used to think that in that way to an extent that when I was hosting DNC fraud protests, I thought it was the right way to do it, to just go after the DNC first, worry about the RNC later. But now I've realized that you have to go after both. If you don't, people aren't going to listen to you. They don't want to keep being divided. They want to unite against both sides because they know both sides are the problem, or at least most of us do. Okay, then controlled opposition, they are media creators and promoters, and they promote the idea that whoever is currently the Democratic Party's poster child, okay, like right now it's Greta, before it was Emma, and before that it was Hogg. They make these young kids into victims, saying like, oh, the GOP is working against them. We have to get behind these children because of the evil GOP. So I saw this, and he's literally promoting this and promoting this child that pushes the DNC's agenda, and he's pushing this and pretending that this child is a victim, saying that he's trying to apparently clarify that this GOP apparently made this, or somebody supporting Trump made this picture, and so he's doing this to set the record straight. No, he's doing this. He's posting these pictures to make these young children look like victims. Okay, they're not victims, and we can't continue to allow them to hide behind little things like this. This is high quality propaganda. I consider this guy a serious leveled propagandist, okay? He's somebody who has dedicated several years pretending to be an activist while meanwhile supporting the establishment. And this same guy told me that he was infiltrating the Nina Turner campaign because I was confronting him about this stuff, and he tried to distract me and tell me, oh, I'm infiltrating the Nina Turner campaign. That's why you're seeing this propaganda and stuff, because allegedly, I guess, he's got to look like he's in the campaign, meaning he's got to put this propaganda to make him look like a Democrat. Then I realized that he was actually infiltrating the DNC fraud protests and probably giving them daily updates on what we were doing. Anyway, so these are some things to look for. Look for the propaganda. Look for the division. Look for the dividing content, the content that only addresses one side of the issue. Because it's one thing to make that mistake at one point in time, but it's another to continue it for years and years and years and never progress. You know, somebody that's woke is not still doing this, okay? If you see some of these signs, just be wary. Know that any true activist wouldn't pretend to be woke and still support the establishment agenda. Quite often, these people will be involved in drama or even start fights or arguing at peaceful protests, which did happen with this individual as well. So these are some things just to be aware of. If they're constantly trying to divide and spread misinformation, just be aware of it. If you're curious about something and somebody and you don't know whether you should trust them or not, send me their info and I'll look them up and I'll let you know what I think. Okay, I will talk to you guys later. I hope you have a good day. Have a good Monday, guys.